So it is about offering the salah 5 times daily, punctually, on time. This is one of the most beloved deeds to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ahabbul a'mali ila Allah ta'ala as-salatu ala waqtiha. The salah which is offered at the correct time, it is the dearest of actions in the court, in the majestic court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We need to realize this. We need to understand this. And in the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is mentioned that mawdi'us salati, qala Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that mawdi'us salati min ad-dini ka mawdi'ir ra'si min al-jasadi. That the position of the salah in the deen is just as we have the position of the head in the body. How important is the head on our body? Without the head, the body is lifeless. It cannot function. So how can our deen function? How can we be functioning and being a true worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if the most important pillar of our deen, which is salah, after iman, after faith, because faith itself, iman itself, it is the central pillar. Just as if you construct a tent and you have 5 pillars which are holding up a tent. So if you've got 4 pillars, salah, saum, zakat, hajj, there are 4 pillars. But until you don't have the central pillar, the tent is not going to be erected. It's not going to be put up, is it? So the central pillar is faith. That is iman. After that, the most important is salah. Just as we have the head on the body, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that mawdi'us salati min ad-dini ka mawdi'ir ra'si min al-jasadi. Just as the head is the central part of the body, this is how important salah is in the deen. And what do we do in salah? This is what we need to understand. And we need to be praying it regularly. We need to be educated in relation to salah. As I mentioned last week, that we must be doing the positions correctly. After having knowledge, complete knowledge of taharat is required. Because that is the key to salah. Taharatu miftahu salah. And as-salatu miftahu jannah. And salah is the key to jannah, to paradise. Without the key, you cannot enter jannah. So we need to have not complete knowledge of taharat, complete knowledge of salah, of its faraid, wajibat, sunan, makruhat, mufsidat. We need to have full knowledge. And we should be offering it correctly. We should have the correct clothes on. If we are wearing tight clothing in our salah, whilst being men, and we can see the shape of our sidr, of the aura, which is supposed to be covered, which is from the knees to the navel. It is the minimum amount that needs to be covered. So if you're wearing tight jeans or skinny jeans, whatever they call them, or you're wearing clothes which are transparent and you can see through and the aura can be seen, then your namaz is not going to count. Some people are going into sajda and you can see their back because their vest is coming out and their back is exposed, and their private part is sometimes exposed because they've got a big belly and the trouser comes down, unfortunately. So they think it is just a joke. It's not a joke. You have to be wearing your best clothing. You cannot even be offering it in your sleeping suit. And you might just think that it's Fajr, I'll just offer it in my sleeping suit because it is Pak. No, would you go in front of your Sheikh, your Beer, your Ustad, or would you go for an interview, job interview or any other interview in your sleeping suit? You wouldn't. So how dare you stand in the court of Allah and take it so casually? How can we have that jurat, that audacity, that boldness that we are standing in the court of Allah? Reflect, whose court am I standing in? In the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no greater court. Your creator, your maker, our God, our Malik, our owner, to whom we came from and to whom we are going to return. You must be dressed in your best clothing. Apply itr, fragrance, with the intention that you are making yourself fragranced for going in the court of Allah. And reflect that I'm about to go into the court of Allah, and I'm going to have the honor, sharaf takallum with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you're going to be talking to Allah through your salah. And what do we do in salah? We praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We declare that He is the greatest. From the outset we say Allahu Akbar. And I mentioned the positions of how to do the positions. And the minimum amount of the ruku is that your hands should extend to your knees. The sunnah way is that your back is straight and you are looking at your feet. And then to stand up straight properly, known as the qawma, that is wajib. To sit properly between the two sajdas, which is known as jalsa. Not to sit halfway, to get up halfway and go back into the sajda, that's tarke wajib. You have to sit properly in the time that it takes to say Subhanallah. That's how much you should be sitting. दूसरी सजदे में जाने की जल्दी नहीं होनी चाहिए, वरना तर्के वाजिब हो जाएगा. And then to pray, Surah Al-Fatiha is wajib. To join a surah to that is also wajib. To immediately go into ruku is also wajib. To go into the next farz without the delay that it may take to say, the time it may take to say Subhanallah 3 times, if you've delayed it, it's tarke wajib again.